Welcome back. It's Tom Watts for Radio Express live from RadioDays Europe in Athens, Greece. And right now we are going to Gibraltar for our next conversation. Hello and welcome.
Hello, thank you.
For everyone watching, listening, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm James Neish. I'm the Chief Executive of the Gibraltar Broadcasting Corporation. So we're public service media in Gibraltar, and we have TV, radio and online services for our community.
There we go. I'm so fascinated about the radio, audio, media landscape in Gibraltar because I feel like there's not many places like Gibraltar. So you're in quite a unique
Oh, there isn't. When are you going to visit?
When can I come?
Whenever you want. Let me tell you one thing.
Yeah.
It's always sunny.
Okay.
It's always warm, but not as warm as Athens.
Okay. All right. No, that sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah. No, we are in a unique position because we serve a small community of about 40,000 people. Mm-hmm. So although we love to boast about our reach, it doesn't translate into millions of listeners like other stations are. But that's our unique selling point. You know, we are a local station for the people of Gibraltar, and we don't pretend to be anything else. But with an 87% reach, I think we're doing quite well.
I think like most radio stations would like to boast that sort of figures. Tell me about your role within Radio Gibraltar and maybe your journey to the point now and your backstory in the audio industry.
Well, interestingly, Tom, I was head of Radio Gibraltar for about 5 years in a past life, can I say that? No. So I started my career at GBC with the Broadcasting Corporation. I went on to become head of radio for 5 years, and then I spent 7 years in London working across the media industry. Like, you know it very, very well. And then the opportunity to go back to Gibraltar came up when the post for CEO was vacant. So, I thought, what a great opportunity to go back home, lead a team, make changes, which we're now seeing the fruits of that. So we've just done our latest audience survey. I was talking to you about the reach, but also the satisfaction rating, because, one thing is to have the numbers, and then the other thing is to ask people, well, how happy are you with the service? And something really interesting happened in our last survey.
Okay.
Even when we asked people, what can we do better? And, we always love to criticize because everybody's an expert and everybody's a critic. But even when we did that, there was a lot of positive. And I think people are buying into the fact that we're trying to change for them and that the efforts that we're putting in are for our listeners and viewers, because the audiences will always be at the heart of everything that we do.
Yeah, absolutely. I was having a similar conversation yesterday about how it's for us to adapt and move to provide for our audience rather than going, well, why aren't our audience changing for us?
And I've just used, I think, what has resonated with people in one of the sessions. I've spoken at the Long Live Local session.
Yeah.
And exactly what you've just said. And the example I've used is, well, look, if I was a business, let's take a restaurant, for example, and I have this fantastic menu, and it's absolutely brilliant, but my tables are empty. Do I carry on with this business losing money, or do I reinvent myself? Is it about streamlining the menu? Is it about changing your PR? Is it about changing the color of your tables? Well, it doesn't matter what it is, but you have to change. No business will carry on losing money. And yet sometimes in the radio industry, we are like, oh, no, but I've got this product. You come to me. That's not how it works. You know this very well.
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to draw on something that Jackie O said as well. She found the chasing the number one spot was the fun part. And then once they got there, holding on to it was the hardest part. And I wanted to go into your 87% reach. Holding on to that extremely high figure must be a challenge and maybe a stress on your mind. How do you remain at that sort of high level?
With a lot of energy and a lot of passion and a lot of hard work every single day. But I think one of the things that when I talk to staff about, it's not for us about chasing number one. It's not for us. I mean, we're a public service broadcaster, and we are more about people telling us, thank you for caring, thank you for showing up for this story, thank you for doing the good, the bad and the ugly. But when we talk to the staff about how we're going to sustain that number one, for me it's more about how we sustain the service and how we sustain any of the changes that we do. So for example, we're here at RadioDays Europe. I'm joined by Lucinda and Ben, two of our presenters, our morning and drive time presenters. And they are being re-energized, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And they're going to take back home so many ideas. and I want them to implement those ideas on air. But,
Okay.
and here comes the but.
Okay.
I don't want a week of all these great ideas and then they disappear by week 3.
Yeah.
You know, so it's about what are we going to do, what are we going to implement, and how are we going to sustain this in the long term?
Yeah.
Because that, in return, the audience rewards you with their faithfulness of tuning in and listening in.
Which then leads to maintaining that 80%
Correct.
and building on it for sure. What are you most excited about the radio industry? You know, maybe in Gibraltar, but also the wider industry, the wider radio audio landscape. Is there something that you can hit on to that you particularly?
I'll tell you one thing that excites me, and I think it's been highlighted in some of the sessions here today, that audio is far from dead. You know, we talk about, have we changed the way that we do things? Yes, absolutely. Are we finding new ways and new platforms? I heard one of the speakers say, if content is king, distribution is King Kong.
Yeah.
I thought that was very, very good. So, you know, for us, it's also about maybe we're now launching GBC podcasts because we find that that's where a part of our audience are. I'll tell you one of the things that I'm very, very excited about, working with young people. We're doing a lot of work at Radio Gibraltar with young people. They are the future. So we have summer camp, broadcasting summer camp. We have teenagers take over Radio Gibraltar. We're going into schools to do a lot of work. We have a big charity appeal, similar to the BBC Children in Need,
Yes.
at a local level.
Yep.
But for a small community, we raised £300,000 last year. And every single school in Gibraltar gets involved.
Right.
So we have a generation that's growing up knowing what we're all about, because I think one of the dangerous things, I know you've asked me what I'm excited about, and this
Well,
I'm
go on to my next
so
question
sorry
of-
that I'm not going to turn this into a negative, because
No.
there is a positive at the end of it, I promise.
Yeah. Well, what's the challenge as well?
Exactly, because there is a challenge with younger people. If they're not growing up consuming the product. So, for example, we would have grown up in an industry where, you know, our parents listened to the radio. The living room or the kitchen or whatever. That's not happening with the younger generation as much. I'm not concerned about that generation. I'm concerned about the next one. Because what happens with their kids? What are they going to listen to
Yeah, of course.
in the years to come? And I think that's why it's so important to have a presence.
Yeah.
I always say we may not have them all the time, and that's absolutely fine. But come to us every now and again. Let's go to schools and do school projects, because they will tune in for that. They will tune in to see their friends, even if they're consuming it on social media.
Yeah.
But at least let's keep the GBC and the Radio Gibraltar brand alive.
Yeah, that's so true. I hadn't even thought about, because we're worried about this current generation, particularly in the UK. I imagine it might be similar in Gibraltar of, you know, the 16 to 24-year-olds. Where are they going? Then they're declining in radio. Then the generation below that we're not even tracking on, you know, radar as the
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's a generation as well that I think is very engaged with social media, but is very engaged in the conversations of the day as well. You know, sometimes we think that they're only interested in music. Nobody comes to radio for the music anymore, or at least not all the time. I mean, it's a great company. You come for the connection.
Human connection. I've said that. Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree.
See, we need to talk. We need to talk more about this.
Unfortunately, our time is up. But James, thank you so much.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you, and it's great. And thank you to Radio Express for all the work that you do for us and all the help that you provide Radio Gibraltar throughout the years. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's a brilliant relationship. And stay tuned to the stream for more conversations throughout the day.